This video is brought to you by Against the Flow of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is a book about Jake Fayard, a Marine veteran who is unhappy with the political machine running the state of Mississippi. He decides to fight the corruption from the inside. Jake will face more challenges than he ever has and will stand up for what he thinks is right. His notoriously hot temper will push him to the edge of murder, along with his friend and brother Kobe Barhanovich. Together, they will fight the system and give the power back to the citizens of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is now available on Amazon. A link to the book will be placed in the description below.
Count time on the compound. All inmates return to bunks. Beyond the Count, Life on the Compound. Brought to you by former Sergeant Allen of the Florida Department of Corrections. On this YouTube channel, I will explain to you the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts of a prison. Hope y'all enjoy. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you are a brother or sister correctional officer, y'all remember, be safe and we never walk alone.
All right, y'all. So, I guess we're at episode 15, Beyond the Count, Life on the Compound. And I'm going to do something a little bit different. I want to talk about the prison, jail, whatever type of facility you work at, county jail, parish prison, state prison, federal facility, whatever. I want to talk about you. I want to talk about what you can do as a correctional officer to better communicate what your expectations are. Now, if we've worked in corrections for a little bit, we've all seen that guy that comes in, gig line ain't straight. If you don't know what a gig line is, that's a line that runs down, it goes along the buttons of your shirt, assuming you're not wearing polos. I know some agencies allow polos, but there's a line. It runs right down your shirt button, down to your belt buckle, down to your zipper on your breeches. You don't know what breeches are down here. We say breeches here in the South. Pants, trousers, whatever you want to call it. But that's not straight. Your boots don't look like they've ever been shined. Come in, you got a beard out to here and long hair or longer than regulation hair. Dirty, unkempt. Uniform's not washed. Uniform hadn't been pressed. It took me a long time to understand this, okay? Because when I started in corrections for the state of Florida, I didn't understand what I'm about to tell y'all. And it took me a while to figure this out. I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of that guy. Like, full disclosure, I was. Some of y'all work with me when I first started are probably like, yeah, Alan, you were. Yes, I was. Okay. Um, and then I realized that I wasn't being taken as seriously as I should have been by the inmate population. So I changed it. Now I come in, my boots are shined, uniforms pressed. I went down to Miami, my stripes, my chevrons on my sleeves, I could have cut somebody with. That's how much I had them pressed, and for a good reason. I didn't really shine my boots too much down there, but at the end I was working so many hours overtime. Honestly, I probably should have took the time to do it, but I didn't. If you walk in and you look like a hot mess, inmates are not going to respect you like that. It's called command presence. You know, the most basic use of force that we have without actually putting hands on an inmate. I'm not talking as in a use of force as in a physical altercation. Just our presence is what gives us our basic, you know, think about it like this, okay? I was a truck driver too. You driving down the street, you see a highway patrol officer. I have been to 48 out of the 50 states in my life. Never, and I do mean this, never have I seen a state trooper look shitty in uniform. Never. I don't care if it's Mississippi, Florida, Massachusetts, California, wherever. I've literally been from sea to shining sea in this country. When you see a highway patrol officer, you see that car. Rarely have I seen a dirty highway patrol car. I mean, I've seen them once in a while, but they pretty well got their stuff together. Makes you think, oh, better slow down a little bit. Better quit doing this. Maybe I ought to put my seatbelt on. Maybe I ought to put the phone down while I'm driving. Well, when you walk into a dorm or a housing unit, that should be you. Now, I'm not saying, I'll be honest with you. I don't really want to write a DR on an inmate, disciplinary report, because that means that I've got to deal with a problem. And the reason I'm dealing with a problem normally, let's just say an inmate is smoking a cigarette in a non smoking facility. I know Mississippi Department of Corrections now allows inmates to smoke. I don't know what the policy is, but let's just say you're in Florida where they can't smoke. There is, all facilities in Florida except death row are tobacco free. An inmate smoking a cigarette on his bunk is blatantly disrespecting you. He's daring you to come say something to him. He wants you to come and challenge him. He's looking for a conflict. That's why he's doing it. So he's just sitting on his bunk and you're walking the floor and he doesn't really care. He just, what's up, Sarge? How you doing? That puts you in a position of where you kind of have to do something. What you really want, if you want an easy night, is you want him to, I don't really want to say, I don't know if it's better for a CO to be feared or respected. I would honestly go with it's better for a CO to be respected. And if they see you looking like I just described, I ain't gonna lie, guilty as charged. Didn't understand the full principle behind it. But if you walk in there looking like a hot mess, they're not gonna take you seriously. They're not gonna respect your authority. Your badge, your uniform grants you a certain amount of authority. You want to be respected on the compound. You want the respect not only of your fellow officers and your supervisors, but of the inmates under your charge. Your job is care, custody, and control of inmates. So if you got a convict sitting there smoking a cigarette, or you got a convict there that's violating another rule, and you just walk in there looking like a shit sandwich, you asked for that. And I understand that, it's not exactly easy to grasp, but the concept behind it is easy to grasp. Now, you can go your whole career without shining your boots. And I know it's a small thing. You go your whole career and don't shine your boots. You can go your whole career and, let's assume you wear Class A. If your department requires you wear the Class A shirt, what I consider a Class A shirt would be collar insignia. If you're a supervisor, or, even Florida for, officers had little FDC pins, uh, badge. This is stuff to where you show some sort of pride in what you do. And you have to. You have to show this pride. I'll be honest with you. Some departments, they have polo shirts. I don't like them. Shortly before I left, Florida was allowing people to get the polo shirts. Got the little embroidered badge and got your name on this side. You know, I'm not too keen on that. Never did like it. I never liked the Class Bs. The only reason I wore the Class Bs when I did is because my Class A shirt was a long sleeve shirt, and you know, working in Florida in the summertime, you don't want to wear long sleeve shirts. It's kind of hard to breathe in that. The shirt material wasn't breathable. Um, Even though it looked great in my opinion, it's just not very practical. I don't like I would prefer a jacket to a long sleeve shirt. The reason I prefer a jacket to a long sleeve shirt is I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking use of force, and I don't want my arms restricted if I have to put one on his haircut. It's as simple as that. I would rather have short sleeve shirts. I'm a little more flexible in that, and I'm a big guy. And I'm 5'10", 300 pounds. So That being said, I'm not that flexible. The less restriction I have on my movement is going to ensure that I get the inmate on the ground and in handcuffs if I need to put him there, and in the use of force and less likelihood of me getting hurt if I can move better. So, somebody in Tallahassee, which I'm sure some of y'all watch my channel, think about this. Get some short sleeve Class A shirts. They look good. You can use the same design. They look excellent, in my opinion. Probably some of the best uniforms I've seen is the state of Florida as far as corrections goes, the Class A. But again, short sleeve, please. It is Florida. It is hot. You don't air condition the dorms. Most of the housing units, you're not air conditioned. You have exhaust fans. It's 90 degrees in the summertime. Short sleeves. But again, that being said, you walk in there like you mean business. You walk into a housing unit, you want the inmates to look at you and go, "Oh, Sergeant Allen's in here. Okay, well, we know what we're gonna have tonight." And again, I was guilty of it. I'm not gonna put out where I currently work, but where I currently work, I don't see a whole lot of this. We need to do better. We as correctional officers need to walk in there like we own the place, like we mean business. We need to walk into a housing unit. When you're sitting there and you're walking into a housing unit, and I've walked into housing units that has as little as 20 convicts or as many as 200 convicts. You need to own that housing unit. You need to look like you're in charge. And the first thing that you're going to do when you step in there, the first thing they're going to see is you. If you walk in there and you've got long hair, you've got a beard that's out of regulation, assuming your department allows you to have facial hair, keep it trimmed. And I want to talk about long hair for a minute because I've seen a few COs in different departments with long hair. You want your ass whipped? You can't grab this. You can't. That's all you're going to grab. It's just what I grabbed right there. Can't really do a whole lot with that. But if you have shoulder length hair and I'm an inmate and I'm trying to hurt you, I grab your long hair. Now I have control of your head. Once I have control of this, I pretty well got you and I can do to you whatever I want to do. Inmates don't play fair. That's why they're inmates. They're not in prison because they follow the rules. Now, also keep in mind, and this is something that we all need to do, myself included. Do you do 1,000 push-ups a day? You do 1,000 sit-ups a day? No. I would venture to guess that there's less than a fraction of a percent of COs that do as many push-ups as inmates. I'm not going to say there's none because I know a few that are. These people are on RRT and CERT, rapid response team. Those guys, for the most part, they bust their ass. They actually stay in good shape. But a lot of departments are dropping the physical requirements now. I'm not gonna lie. I personally am out of shape. I smoke. I'm a big old boy. And again, I'm not innocent of this. But these inmates are out there and they're banging out 1,000 push-ups a day and 1,000 sit-ups a day. They may be in their cell doing nothing. They go out on the yard, they get on the dip bars and they're doing 500 dips. Other inmates are encouraging them. They take bets on this. I bet I could do more dips than you. I bet I could do more push-ups than you. Yeah, they get a little bit of canteen out of it. Yes, gambling's illegal, but let's go beyond that for a minute. Let's just think about this. This is gonna. I'm gonna call out a training officer for Florida, and I hope he sees this. And if you went through FCA Region 2, where I did, at Florida State Prison, you'll know who I'm talking about. Milton Brinson was right. When he trained us in defensive tactics, he said that he was training us for the worst day of our life. Getting your ass beat by a convict is probably pretty close to the worst day of your life. God forbid you have to be taken out to outside hospital on an ambulance. If you get your ass whipped by an inmate, that's a pretty bad day. I mean, there's no way to say that it's not a bad day. You just got knocked, slapped the fuck out by an inmate. You better know what you're doing. Now, I went to the academy 2017, 2018. I will take it a step further and I will say that it is my fault, my own fault, that I didn't keep up with myself. And I wish I had, because if you have that, in addition to command presence, and command presence doesn't mean be an asshole. Command presence doesn't mean you have to snatch one up because that would be unnecessary or excessive force. Command presence is all about looking like you mean what you say and being prepared for a shit hits the fan situation. Command presence, along with physical fitness, gives you an advantage. First off, it's a mental thing for the inmates. Everything we do is a mental game with the inmates. Everything we do. Doesn't matter what it is. If an inmate is being a little disorderly, and I tell an inmate to go sweep the sunshine off my sidewalk, that's a mental game. Well, if I walk into a dorm and I got my shirt half untucked and I've got nose rings and tongue rings and 15 earrings in my ear and you know nobody's going to take me serious. But if I walk in there, my uniform is pressed, my pants are properly pressed, creases where they're supposed to be, gig line intact, boots shine, haircut, decent shave, and I like a beard. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I feel I look better with a beard. But if I walk in there and I'm in shape, a perfect example, and I'm gonna call an officer out by name. I got hired with this guy, went through FTO onboarding with this guy, worked with him from 2017 until 2019, went to the academy with him. Guy by the name of Sergeant Reese. He's still down in Florida. I know I worked with him at New River CI, and I know they closed New River down. I don't know where they sent him. I'm assuming probably UCI or FSP or RMC is one of those places, but this guy has command presence. This guy is physically in shape. I ain't gonna lie, he probably whooped my ass. Um, his uniform, I have never seen him come in and his uniform not pressed. Rarely have I seen him with his boots unshined, or at least some form of shine on them. May not be a high glossy strip and shine, Marine Corps strip and shine, but I mean they're decently shined. And when he walks in, he says, "Hey, y'all better knock that off." All right, Sarge, we good. And that's what it's all about. I don't want to use force. Nobody wants to, well, some people want to use force. Most COs don't want to use force. And I'll be honest with you, I worry about somebody who gets this job and wants to just slap the shit out of somebody. If you're the guy that got picked on in high school and now you want to be the bully and you come to work corrections, don't come. Just do me a favor and just don't work corrections. Go get you a job as a mall cop and save all of us a lot of headache. Because if you do something stupid, well, you know what? I'll make that. I'm gonna do a whole nother video on that because I've seen that type too. But walk in and look like you mean business. Be ready. You don't have to do anything if you look like you will most of the time. Now, 90% of the inmates, they see you in uniform, you give them a verbal order, they're going to follow it. 97% of inmates. It's that 3% that you got to go the extra mile to go and show them, look, I'm here. It's my house. This is what I say. We run this. You don't. Otherwise, what's the point? I want to walk into a housing unit. I want my inmates to do exactly what they're supposed to do, follow the rules. I don't want to write a DR on anybody. I don't want to have a use of force. I don't want to have somebody blatantly violating the rules in front of my face because they think I'm a joke. Because that makes my job harder. And it increases the likelihood that I'm going to have to use force on an inmate. I would much rather not use any force on an inmate. I would much rather my nonverbal communication, which is showing who I am, that I am here and I am in charge, take over. y'all think about it. Be safe.